Well, for a very short while, I had a dream that I was aware someone came in and, oh, well, it's their time to be with so-and-so. I'll leave them to it. And my consolation in my mind was, in some sense, I got you, God. And that's fine. And I went out. And then I was in some difficulty getting away from the premises in some sense. I was in my primary school in the setting seemed to be. And I wasn't sure there was a way out beyond the buildings, across the grass. But I thought, that's all right, I'll take a chance on that. And somehow there was the confidence of God with me. And then I realised I had too much. I had a scarf on as well as a coat, and I was trying to take the scarf off without taking the coat off first, and then I was sort of struggling a bit to take the coat off. But I was aware of God, and then I was awake. In the morning here, in bed. And then I was aware of the noise of the hot air balloons going over. They make a sort of mild roaring sound as the burners, from the burners that keep the hot air into the balloon. And they're very close. And I took some photos. And perhaps I use one on this recording to show you. It's the big thing in Hamilton once a year. They've been doing it for ages and ages. And it's their spectacular, About 20, I think I counted 22 yesterday morning at one time within visual range from my little balcony here with its view of Frankton. And Frankton is a district in Hamilton, New Zealand. And in the distance of about 30 kilometres, the Hakaramatas and Taupri Mountain, which is a sort of sacred mountain to the Maori, where their kings and queens are buried. At the top, of course. Well, near the top. Not at the top. That would be disrespectful, apparently. And I'm back in this dream, the dream that I return to. But I will not always return to, of course. And this dream will move on, in a sense, without me. But they're all in the mind of God, as I understand it. As I take it to be, rather. That he thinks of this reality, and I dreamed the dreams earlier, in a sense, in my mind, but that was just, as I see it, my part of his mind that I was occupying and rearranging and experiencing. But it's all in our Heavenly Father's being. I'm very used to now thinking of God in terms of Heavenly Father. But after the last recording, of course, I really feel I should now often be referring to him as her. And I think as Divine Mother. Divine's got a good association to me. I could say Heavenly Mother, couldn't I? Well, I'm used to Heavenly Father. And I'm aware of Paramahansa's view that Divine Mother was most appropriate to him, and perhaps many people, well, Eastern people. We've lost a lot in Christianity by singularly masculizing God. And I think it's responsible for the religion being so austere. It didn't entertain well her loving kindness. Just saw her as him only. We are so impoverished by not having a neuter pronoun. We can't, well, we've got it, but that's so derogatory to refer to a person as it in our cultural experience, that we can't refer to God as it. That would be terrible. So we have to speak in the language we've got. Now, the language we've got is not giving the full picture. So at times I'll say he, and at times I'll say she. At times I'll say Heavenly Father, and at times I will say Divine Mother. And what seems strange and bizarre now will soon become quite normal. Don't even notice that it could have been a problem. When I first was introduced to the notion of thinking of calling God Dad, it was unacceptable to me. It was almost derogatory. I couldn't entertain it. Abba, perhaps because Abba was a word that, didn't have associations other than actually a very good pop group that I used to love the singing of. I was probably taken with the two girls, of course. As a young man, you understand. Yes. And but now Dad seems most reasonable. And it's helped me greatly to appreciate his softness. But the real experience in my life, and perhaps in, ideally I hope, so many people's lives, has been the nearness and caress and care and embrace of Mum. And so I'm shifting towards that more. I want to entertain this in my language of God. Why can't I refer to my God as Divine Mother, Divine Mum, Heavenly Dad, Divine Mum, Divine Mum, Heavenly Dad? I can, and I will. It's bizarre, of course. It's like my phonetic spelling. It seems so bizarre to be doing it when you first do it. You think, oh, the world would just think you're completely crazy, Marsha. But when you do it long enough, it becomes so right. And now, when I'm writing, I can write in my phonetic alphabet quicker than I can write English. Because, of course, I still struggle with spelling English. Struggle is an overstatement, but it's a bit of a struggle. And there's something else I wanted to draw parallel to. Hang on a minute. No, I seem to have covered it by adding a note to the first of today's recordings. I might add, though, the obvious. Angels I took to be neither male nor female, although many have, taken it that they're male, and I, if anything, had taken it that they were female, and I expect many people have seen them as female. But I had no problem in thinking of an angel as neither male nor female. Just wondering what pronoun I would have used. He or she. Well, I don't know. I think this will sort itself out. Thank you, Dad. Or should I say, thank you, Mum. Love you. My love is the best name for God. Ah, yes, I would like to say that. My love. You are my love. You are my love. It's irrelevant to me whether I say he or she, Mum or Dad. You are my love. And I think that's why I was taken so much by dearest friend. But my love is stronger than dearest friend, isn't it? And it's gender neutral, isn't it? In the nice sense of the word neutral. It's gender comprehensive. That's a better way of putting it. It covers whichever you're happiest of feeling with. And that's incredibly important, because your love is incredibly important. This person to you. Divine Mum, Heavenly Dad. Your love. How do I finish now? Do I say thank you, Dad? Thank you, Mum. I'm going to say thank you, Mum. Seems very strange. But it won't seem strange when I get used to doing it. Thank you, Mum. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, my love. Dearest friend, thank you, my love. A couple of things I'd like to add. Well, I thought I dictated but seem to have missed. If it's a repeat, well, not to worry. Yes, my phonetic way of spelling. I'm so used to it now, for instance, that I write much faster, in fact, in my phonetic writing. I don't have to think about the spelling, you see. Scarcely at all. Whereas in English, not only was I thinking about the spelling, but I was also concerned that I look a fool if I spell it wrong, because I saw it as such an incompetence of mine not to be able to spell as good as I felt the other children were spelling. Not remotely. So much so that it would make some teachers angry that I wasn't spelling as I should. They weren't very sympathetic with things in those days. Teaching was a bit different, in the 1950s, and yeah. And of course, this is why I put together my phonetic alphabet, because I feel it's so unreasonable to expect children and foreigners too to learn to read and also to spell a language that didn't have a consistency, because it's come from so many sources as regards its words that it uses and have become English words, but they're spelt still in some sense because of their historical roots in different ways for the same sounds. And you never know when spelling whether to do the sound this way or that, or whether you've got quite the right sound. You know, your local accent might be such that you're not even giving the sound that other people would give in the word without realizing it. Or even realizing it, knowing that you can't change the habit, that is your accent, you know. We've unintentionally, of course, made reading and writing ridiculously hard, incredibly draining on kids and people trying to learn the language. Absolute foolishness. You could learn my phonetic system, given you know something, of course, about the English system at present. You could learn it extremely quickly, because I try to use such where possible and ones that you recognize. And be able to spell fine. Plus the fact there isn't the demand put upon you that it has to be pronounced in a sense, in a certain way, and spelt in a certain way. You can keep your accent or your way of speaking. I mean, obviously you need it to be good enough to be understood by others, by your audience in particular. But you don't have to lose your local accent to acquire Queen's English or something. You know, that's a nonsense. We can define right pronunciation and spelling as right communication. And right communication is the reasonably expected communication to the people you're talking to. And sure, there will be circumstances where you don't have that. They have a different language, or their accent is so broad compared to yours that they're not following easily. And okay. But most people can follow, for instance, broadcasted English, you know, from television and radio, if you like the way the news is read in English. Most people can follow that. If they're speaking with an extreme Indian accent, I might miss certain words, or an extreme Scottish accent, I might think, what was that? And I do with the Kiwi accent. I mean, they say various words very strangely, like they're going across on the ferry, and you think, ferry? Oh, you mean ferry? Oh, yeah. And they talk about one of their rugby teams as the Warriors, and you think, worrying? Oh, Warriors! Oh, yes, Warriors, yes, oh, yes, yes. But, you know, they're going off to bed. Where are you going? Oh, bed. Oh, yeah, No, they don't say they say e. Well, I don't know, something like that. I can't do it. I haven't learned the language yet. Fancy having to learn the language in New Zealand. Well, only a tiny bit, of course. That's all you need. Best not to call trucks lorries. They're not used to lorries here. They call them trucks, and so forth. There's a few little things like that. And that's fun when it's just in small amounts, isn't it? But I mean, if I was forced to learn another language, oh no, my goodness, don't put that on anybody. That's the big one. What else was I going to say? Let me check them out. Oh, there's one slight snag with my love, and that is that the implication is others are not my love. And I don't think that God has favourites. So perhaps it's the case that, try this for a moment, I'm thinking aloud here. If I refer to you as my love, and I can, well, first of all, I mean it in the best possible way, not to confuse with God, but to fuse with God. And I mean by that, I'm recognizing you are his love. And therefore you are my love too. So I can say to you, I can address you as my love. In the same way as Eastern people, they don't shake hands. They simply put their hands together. There's no contagion contact, if you're worried about that disease. They put their hands together in a prayer position and bow their heads, which is to recognize. It's in recognition of the fact that God is in you. They're, in a sense, bowing slightly to the God that's in you. Meant to be, therefore, tremendous respect. Good. So similarly, I can refer to you as my love if I so do, and if you don't take it as an offence, of course. Some people would take it as an offence. It's an amazing world, isn't it? I've been told off for many times in the past as a younger man, calling women love. I didn't like that. They didn't like that. Oh my goodness, I told the wrong person here, didn't I? I guess I get away with it more now, perhaps because times have changed, but perhaps because I'm so old now. They still feel safe, even if I say love. Oh, what a world. How long must I be with you? I think Jesus said, didn't he? How long must I suffer you? Yeah, well, I know what he means. There's a big advantage of my love, which is I've noted in earlier recordings, that when I address God as my love, one is the obvious, it's ambiguous, you see. One is the obvious meaning, which is he is the one I love. But equally, I think I'm implying, well, the two things. He is my love, the one I love, but I'm the one he loves. And therefore I received his love, and that's mine. Does that make sense to you? I mean, if I receive a present from you, it's mine. Thank you. It's my present, my love. I've received your love, you see. His continual loving me is what I receive. It's the love he gives me. It's my love. And of course there's a third meaning, which is quite simply the reason we're sent. Our Divine Mother, our Heavenly Father, is my love to all, to everyone, to all. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Mum. Thank you, my love.